Hello everyone, I'm Silverraptor and welcome back to Warno. So, in this game, we did a bit of an in-house. I am playing with Bolt Sauce and we are also playing with a bunch of people from his Discord channel that have joined. We have Loki, Arma, Fix and Strike, Halcyon, Zeke, and Whitetail, all in this big in-house together, and we are playing a destruction game, a game mode that's not often seen very much. And if you guys have seen any of my wargame content, you know I actually prefer destruction over conquest. Most of my videos that I uploaded are indeed destruction, and the reason why a lot of people don't like it, and I understand it can turn into an arty fest where people set up their units, people set up the other units, they drop arty to safely, obliterate the enemy's forces back and forth. But in my games, most of my games, I don't actually do a lot of artillery. It's more of, I keep trying to push forward, be aggressive, try to advance. Once I get enough force, I try to conquer the enemy force, push them out of the zone, and keep going. It's just kind of like it's like a puzzle for me to solve, an obstacle to overcome. And I also am trying to keep my people alive. In Conquest, I tend to, you tend to just sacrifice them, their zerg, their spam, their, meat to be thrown into the front lines. I want to play a game mode where I feel the death of every unit I have as, oh no, John's not going back to his wife and kids because I failed him, or I didn't treat his life more value. I know that's it's kind of a distressing thought, but that's kind of how I like to play. It's a little bit more micro-focused, and I do like in Destruction how you get points every few seconds. It's just a small amount depending upon the amount of zones that you capture, instead of like every minute you and the enemy will get basically the same amount of points. So, anyways, I'll go and start this. Yeah, Bolt is over on the right side. He is playing the 5th Panzer Division. Arma's going to be joining the left side of the Volcano here that we're fighting over. I'm guessing this is a dormant volcano. He's playing the 8th Mechanized, and Loki is going to be playing the Berlin Command on the left. And the main thing why I picked this is I brought both of my M1A1 ACAV Recon Abrams. These are exactly the same as an M1A1 tank, except they have good optics and forward deploy, which is the whole point. That's why I'm bringing both of them at the start. In addition, Loki is bringing in both his Mirages. He's going to drop a bunch of those high explosive carpet bomb that road, and basically kill anything that might have actually got there. I don't know if anything got there so early, but then again, I haven't really memorized the forward deploy of the map. MiG-21 BIS tries to chase down the Mirages, but does not succeed. It is missiles, and that's understandable. Missiles aren't really that good. And the Mirages, I think, outran it. He got hit by Bolt Sauce's Roland 2, but is still able to get out. All my other stuff is moving up. I have a Unimog with BGS coming forward. The BGS, I forget exactly what their full names are supposed to be, but they are a militia unit. One thing I heard someone call that I am totally stealing is the BGS stands for Big Girl Scouts, because one of the units is a female model, woman model. So, one thing I did find interesting about these units is that, yes, they are reservists, but they're also security, so they can kind of act as a good recon unit, even though they're already pretty good and exceptional. But the main thing, look at this gun. 80% static in motion, and the reservist just brings it down a little bit. That's why I really like that unit. I did send my M1A1 a little bit on the cowboy run to go in support of Arma, because I saw he was moving up all of his units. I was trying to cut off, kill as many of the BMPs or whatever as I could. But I wasn't anticipating the amount of ATGMs. I was also distracted by the Mi-24V over here, who did a lot of the rockets and everything. My M1A1 ACAV is going to be able to kill off that APC and whatever expensive unit was inside it. After smoking up the ATGMs, I'm trying to retreat with my M1 Abrams. I hit that BMP-1 really good with the cannon, so it just had enough armor to stay alive. The armor is somewhat failing due to the sheer amount of ATGM volume that hit. That one was really good. It actually did quite a bit of damage. And the last one, I think, just got out of range. M1A1, combination of Milan 2, killed the BMP-3. M1A1 still trying to reverse as much as possible, but then gets hit and taken out. So I do lose one of my ACAVs at the start. I have an M1A1 command, as all of my units are getting inside and consolidating. ACAVs is going to be firing up against the Monostroke as they come forward, as it is basically a pretty good main gun. And this is going to be my basically consolidation point. I am leaving it to Arma to control the left-hand side, and my goal is to basically control the right. I want to control all the way down here into the forest. I was going to try to get into this town, but that hind stopped me from being able to get in there. And so I'm going to try to control this side here. My goal is to capture this forest, kind of push myself kind of hidden in the forest here. I don't use this tool enough when I'm actually playing, so I didn't realize just how much you can be seen in the forest, but my goal was to try to capture here, get enough units, and then try to hit here around the south and help, or the flank, and help Bolt Sauce in securing this forest here so that he can try to focus on securing the rest of the zone. Then once that's all figured out, I could then try to do a push into this zone here, into Delta, and also rest of Bravo to try to help out Arma. So that's my ultimate goal that I want to do. I want to secure this forest, secure this flank here, and then consider to push across. Right now, my Big Girl Scout squad routed due to the fact that they are militia, and they started here when they routed, and they're still running. And I have no idea how long they keep going until they stop running. I don't know if there's any way to stop them from continuing to push down. But anyways, moving up, I leave an ACAV squad in order to be able to give recon. I have my Milans moving forward. One is here to help provide a little bit of extra Milan and fire support. Another is going to be backing up these Panzer Grenadiers as they move across over the forest. Or not, but I wanted to move this up to keep the Panzer Grenadiers infantry fighting vehicle trait moved up. Yep, so I'm moving that up. And I only noticed this during game. Each game I'm getting a little better about the mechanics. I keep going into it with a bit of a War Game Red Dragon mindset. Usually when you're fighting, an infantry will either fire its extra machine gun or its anti-tank, but not both. In this game, I figured out they fire both simultaneously, so that definitely was a good lesson to learn. I should have been a little bit more aggressive with the Panzer Grenadiers, but fear of the unknown kind of stopped me as I was waiting to consolidate all my forces. I bring in triple PVADs after playing that Berlin Command game. Seeing all those PVADs kill planes, I realized quantity of PVADs is the way to go in order to be able to shoot down any planes that fly overhead, because no ECM is going to stop a lot of lead in the air. Looks like Loki is basically securing this area fairly well. Arma's has this place locked down, but he seems to have turtled up. Bolt Sauce is pushing really hard with his group right here. Pioneers, Fernsbach, Jaegers. So he's trying to push forward. He's got a really good balance of units. Bolt Sauce is, of course, really good at the game, so no fear there. My Milan got hit, so instantly I'm going to reverse back, moving up my trucks. My Big Girl Scout squad basically got to the end of the forest before they finally stopped running, and now I'm telling them to go back so they can resupply with the supply truck. Panzer Grenadiers move up with the Milan as the Halcyon is moving up with his Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers and such, moving forward. And then my AT gunship is moving up, and I thought the PVADs were in range. I got distracted by something else, otherwise I would have noticed that they weren't actually firing. The Marauder is firing back at this, but this MI-AT, when I first saw this, I'm just like, I don't... I did think the two cannons would be as good as compared to like a lot of rockets, but it can actually be quite effective. Helicopter manages to kill the two Panzer Grenadier squads I had there to try to stop the infantry, so they're going to be pushing into here now. Marauder M1A3 is moving back, as well as the PVADs. I'm trying to decide whether I want to shoot at the Mi-24 or move them back. ACAV is going to be firing at the Metas team as they're moving up, as I back them up with a regular M1A1. As you can see, it is cheaper by about 40 points. In comes an SU-22 with rockets, so I'm moving these guys back. It was going to fire its rockets, but the PVADs instantly put the engine on fire. And with the sheer amount of PVADs and missiles, able to shoot down that plane that was coming in. Milan 2 moves up, kills off the BMP before the smoke could complete. This Milan 2 was definitely very good. Color me impressed by how a Milan 2 kept hitting a lot of its shots, and you're going to be seeing that for basically the rest of the fight. Looks like Bolt Sauce went back to resupply at this Man-Caddy 6x6, and now is going forward for another push. I see that they have units here, and I do want to try to push here as well to try to secure this. This would definitely at least prevent a flank, because I know very well that they could hit me into the forest by being here, so I have some plans for that. I also bring forward some M109 howitzers ready to fire, and I'm sure I remember Boltaz saying target some artillery, and they kept marking, and I kept doing counter battery fire mainly with these guys. I'm also going to bring up some regular mortars to try to soften up or bring actual targets or smoke stuff out. One thing I definitely a little irritated with the mortars in this game, and that is that the mortars have very wide dispersion. DEV took quite a bit of damage, but it did fire a huge 65 millimeter high explosive shell, but it does get taken out by the sheer amount of ATGMs. ACAV tried to drop smoke to save it, but wasn't in time, so they're going to have to back off right next to the PVADs as I wait for more supplies. I forgot about the Stinger team here, but I do want to spread up here onto the forest to see if I can shoot down any helicopters up above. Dragon actually killed a vehicle with some units inside due to the double points that's going up. It's the mechanized rifle with their 3 M249s going up against these Odolentis. And they run right into a Sappery with an RPO. RPO is actually pretty ruthless with the napalm, just doing so much damage and firing so rapidly. Artillery's firing on where that ATGM was. My Dragon is falling back. And the RPO managed to go through all of its rockets, but they have probably high cohesion, while my mechanized rifle is continuously running from the fire. I send up a Dragon because knowing that the RPO doesn't actually have a anti-tank weapon, I'm hoping that the 50 cal of the Dragon is able to scare him off, and it looks like it does indeed happen. Meanwhile, Bolt Sauce is doing an excellent combined forces push moving forward, taking out anything, and basically when he goes up and he fires infantry with RPGs, he sends up the Pioneers, satchel charges, or other stuff that's good at taking out infantry. Then if they sing out napalm infantry and such, he'll send up the Martyrs and kill them with vehicles. Now here's my first push into here. I sent out some dismount troops. These guys are fairly good. They have a limited strength, but they do come with, again, 3 M249s, which is quite a little bit of firepower. If I had coordinated this more appropriately, I'd have the M1A1 move up to provide better fire support. That said, these guys run up, but get cut down pretty quickly into the Monostrucki, but revealing that the enemy does have quite a bit of forces there. And I realized I do need to go and try to do more on conquering this. So I first start bringing in my artillery to start focusing fire on that. Engineers opening up with his 50 cal. I think I've lost track of some of my units here. I see the Mi-24, and I'm trying to see if I can kill them. Milan 2 is going to be firing at the T-62 to cover the PVAD. I'm counting on the Milan 2 to be able to do a lot of damage. It didn't quite one hit. PVADs are moving up, and they are providing suppression fire, but they are being taken out quite quickly. So the Milan 2 did take out the T-62, but it's trying to take fire by something in here, so that's going to have to fall back, and I'm going to replace that with the ACAV. Mechanized rifle is running from Sappery with RPOs, and seeing that they're a Sappery with RPOs and not actually anything to deal with vehicles, I send my PVAD forward to try to cover the mechanized rifle. ATGM comes in, barely misses the PVAD, so I quickly try to move back and try to hide myself from the ATGM. Again, the firing with the Gatling gun to try to stop out the Sappery, but they do actually send up a unit with a RPG, and they do manage to take that out, but my mechanized rifle does seem to be able to escape. Move the Stinger squad up, move the supply. This is something that annoyed me. A lot of my units tended to, when I told them to reinforce here, tended to take this road and got shot out in the open. So some of the units I actually just dropped off and just started to send forward to try to capture this area. Yeah, these I was trying to bring in reinforcements. Now that I'm watching this, I should have probably just unloaded these, just gone straight forward due to the fact that these were moving up. Yeah, move the Dragon up to cover with 50 cal and the Dragon launcher as well. Engineers are moving up, trying to get into range with the satchel charge. Engineers got hit by the T-62 as Nighthawk does get taken out when it was trying to drop its laser-guided bombs. I managed to actually drop smoke with the Martyr to stop an ATGM and able to drive my units through to try to survive with the ATGM. It got to the forest in time as well. Engineers killing off all of the enemy infantry as I tried to move forward. And what I'm seeing here is I cleared out this as like a fire angle. So I feel a little bit more comfortable that the enemy forces is over here. And as you can see, this is like my entire focus. As I'm still getting used to this game, I still tend to tunnel vision onto stuff, which is a habit that I'm trying to break as I'm trying to learn more about units and their price costs and everything. And then to see moving forward, see what they all have, and realize they don't really have all that much. So, again, I'm just like, okay, just keep this supplied, keep this ready, and restock on all my troops, and then we'll push forward again into the forest and try to stop the enemy. Now, we had a FOB, and we no longer have a FOB. And the reason why is they got a scout unit that managed to sneak around and discovered it. But I remember Bolt say it was his FOB. He was like, did anybody fire next to the FOB? And we're like, no. He says, if I watch this replay, and so help me. That was so funny. T-62 firing at the CEV, which I brought in for cover. See, noticing that, I'm going to reverse the CEV to try to save it from that. Moving forward, the Panzer Grenadiers and the big Girl Scout squad trying to stop against the Old Delenti. Trying to take them out. I also have some engineers there as well. So again, I'm going to make another push, trying to secure this forest line. And I needed to be a little bit more better. I kept moving the ACAV so we wouldn't be shot at. And again, I'm firing mortars that big for the last time something dropped in or fired from this position. But anyways, continuing forward, I'm continuing my attack. Bolt Sauce managed to get a CV into the squad due to the zone. They have multiple CVs into here, and looks like he's starting to smoke off here for a big push coming forward onto here. Arma just kind of sat back a bit and just didn't do a whole lot in pushing. He just defended his zone completely. Loki did really well. I really liked, again, these Berlin Light Rifles. This 1400 range. They've got quite a bit of range for that recoilless rifle, and they also can target infantry, not just vehicles. So it's a very good unit, I believe. Looks like they're getting pushed, but I have full confidence that he'll be able to handle that. So again, going back into this, my engineers are moving up, but they don't get close enough for their satchel charges. BGS squads are also firing at point-blank range with their submachine guns. Realizing that with the RPOs and stuff, I'm going to be taken apart. So I'm starting to retreat with mortars starting to fall, trying to cover their position. A mortar actually landed near close to their position and stunned them up. Moved my Abrams up to try to cover my infantry as they retreat, or try to stop any force that tries to come forward. And I might just push forward and take out the T-62 and take them out, as more Martyrs are coming in with more Panzer Grenadiers. So we're going to, again, try to take this forest. This is my goal. I want to take this strip of forest as my first part and then push up for the rest. This artillery is starting to come in back and forth. A little bit of a back and forth action, but I'm, again, using these guys as a bit of a... Well, right now I'm using these to just stop the enemy infantry where they are, so they don't continue to chase the BGS on their retreat. I see that Bolt Sauce was in the middle of a huge airplane fight with the F4F, so I bring in my F-16 Fighting Falcon to try to cover the F4F, see if I can get him away. The biggest threat is the Su-27, so I initially started firing onto that. Got a hydraulic fluid flame fire. He's going to have to retreat. MiG-21 gets hit, and the Fighting Falcon manages to fire a, I think it was a Sparrow, and take it out on his retreat. So that was definitely worthwhile, as I was also able to save Bolt Sauce's Phantom. And I'm starting to push up once again. I have the Stinger up here, hoping that this is actually a good line of sight that I can use to try to shoot down any helicopters. That Mi-24 is the biggest threat there that I keep noticing. I have replaced the PVADs I've lost, ready to move forward. Looking at the points, Arma's actually doing a good job completely locking down the enemy forces. I think it's because a lot of planes fly over his AA, and be on defensive, he do have kind of somewhat of an advantage. That's what people can kind of lock down, but he still is trying to win. So once he takes out this force, I would hope that he would then push forward and then try to cover and knock out this forest area, so that it would limit to where the CV could be that's controlling this zone. So, moving up, my Abrams, I think I did take out the T-62. Both of them fired the Grenzer, but I saw the artillery coming in, so I immediately start reversing them. As you can see, I have a lot of infantry all geared up, ready to do a major push coming forward. Milan 2 is firing under heavy fire from the artillery. Manages to hit a BMP-3. That was definitely worthwhile, as the more mechanized rifles are again going along the forest line and not directly into the forest, so being taken out. So this caused a lot of loss, is that units just kept constantly going down this road and being destroyed. Which, in Board Game Red Dragon, that's why I generally didn't like Highway to Seoul, because my units kind of follow this similar path. Artillery is landing where artillery came from, or mortars, so I'm definitely trying to counter RT where they are. And yeah, just getting ready to push forward and clear out this as well. Do I have... I tried to push, I think, with some CEVs as well at point-blank range, but I'm not entirely sure. Mi-24 is stopping Bolt Sauce, but he did manage to find a CV moving forward, so he's definitely succeeding in his push. I am moving up my push as well. Finally, time to push forward. Sapri RPOs are going to try to open fire, and they're going to do quite a bit of damage to my Panzer Grenadiers. And so I think this squad is definitely going to go die, but my sheer amount of forces that I have is going to start overwhelming the Odolenti and everything else. Stinger moves up and begins to fire at the Hind. Misses the first shot. I think the Hind has no, it doesn't have any ACM, so you're just a bad shot. Second is a bad shot. These guys are supposed to have 60% accuracy, so I don't know what they're doing. Their first infantry line of defense is shot down. The Mi-24 moves, but apparently it moves in such a way that the Stinger team lost line of sight, and they're trying to move forward, but unfortunately they either landed it or it lowered in volume. He landed it to try to repair. And while landed, was firing rockets at my Stinger, so that was annoying. But this is my chance. I'm starting to move everything forward. Moving the M113 and the Dragons up first to try to soak up any fire. BMP-3 moves up. ACAV fires. M1A1 also fires. Both of them miss, which is very annoying. Grenzers are revealed, so instantly all the machine guns start opening up upon them. M1A1 and ACAV. ACAV accidentally turned aside, so instantly I'm going to have to retreat him to try to get more supplies. Another M1A1 moves up. M1A1 gets hit by a ATGM by the T-62 and got stunned. Cohesion is low here, getting hit. I see that he's taking quite a bit of hits, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to order a retreat before long. No, I keep pressing the target. So I guess I lost track of the M1 Abrams, which is bad. And here comes a huge, high explosive rocket artillery barrage. Finally, I decide now's the time to retreat the Abrams with that smoke, as my entire force gets kind of stopped in this track by this huge rocket artillery barrage. But I keep trying to push forward, and my hope is to try to cut this off before he brings in any reinforcements. Mi-24s are coming in. I do have one PVAD left after that high explosive destroyed all of them. So, again, my AA has now just completely went the way of the dodo. As my artillery is trying to counter artillery where the last rocket artillery barrage, but here comes the next one, which is again going to be focusing on my force here due to the sheer amount of units that are concentrated. But again, I'm still trying to push forward, and seeing that there's helicopters, I realize this is going to be the main problem, is to just take out these Mi-24s the best I can. Another Mirage 4 bomb comes in, and I bring in some emergency OH-58Cs with their Stinger missiles. Going to station them here. Once I notice them, I was going to bring them forward to try to shoot at the Mi-24s and try to take them out as I continue to push forward. The Marauders moving forward with the PVAD even helping out, point blank range, everything I can to stun this Motostrelki so he can't fire his RPG-7 against my vehicles and just take him out and continue to secure. So my forest is starting to become secure. I need more reinforcements. I have my a tank and a CEV ready to move up as soon as I realize that they're there. I'm retreating my forces due to the artillery and everything that's coming forward, and I'm hoping that he's not going to bring anything immediately as I prepare to move these back and to supply up. MiG-20, a whole bunch of planes start moving up just as my helicopters get there, and it's like they saw this, and so begin one and taking that out. My helicopters fire their Stinger missiles, and the last missile hits the MiG-23, getting the last points needed for our victory. And yeah. So that was definitely a very fun game. There's a little bit of back and forth, small focused on my end, but again, I was trying to push forward onto the forest. I'm basically the one who was the liability in terms of kills and losses, but I think that was just because a third of my units that I called in ended up going down a road in a crossfire that the enemy got free kills on, which was a bit of a nightmare. I'm sure that was probably made up the difference, but overall, I still feel like I did good contributions to the team at least. Definitely kept the pressure into the middle of the volcano so that they couldn't split their focus onto Bolt and his push on the right, or Loki defending on the left, or Arma 4, who just sat back and just let the enemy walk into his traps, and he got the most kills there. But anyways, my ACAV, the one that survived, as you can see, killed quite a bit of units in the front there. This Milan 2 killing BMP-3s, T-62s, just keeping the enemy knocked down. I had an A-10 go over to the left to help out Loki. I forgot to cover his heroic push, but he managed to kill both the T-72 and T-55 in one pass before being shot down. And this isn't the ATGM, this is the rocket variant, because the gun itself also can help kill these kind of tanks. So he was able to do quite well there. The artillery actually managed to kill one of their... is that artillery? Oh no, that's the towed gun. This is like the artillery, 120 millimeter mortar or what have you. So, yep, able to hold off the enemy forces, and my OH-58C killing that MiG-23 for the conclusion of the game. Took quite a few losses. As you can see, a lot of these are M113s being taken out due to the fact that they drove the wrong way. And the Uragans, they even killed an Abrams at CEV, just concentrated onto that forces. That hurt. That hurt quite a bit, I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, I just want to make sure. This has a chronology. Oh, no, it was Bolt Sauce who killed the last MiG-23. Mine killed the plane just before that. All right, so, well, anyways, that was the game of destruction on Volcano. I think I might be doing a little bit more destruction. I do enjoy the game mode a bit better, get better into that kind of mindset, and also it helped me kind of at a glance learn how much points units cost, and hopefully lead to better gameplay due to the fact that I will know what's more cost efficient in terms of kills to losses. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of back and forth action, and I hope to see you all in the next Warno video.